Hi guys, so today in our video we're going to talk about non-Western music and give you an introduction to some examples and to some musical aspects from those examples.
So first I'm going to teach you guys about the non-Western scale. Mentioned in the next slide, we have the pentatonic scale. So the pentatonic scale contains 5 notes because you see penta means 5. It contains do, re, mi, sol, and la. So it has a whole step, another whole step, and then a minor third, another whole step, and another minor third. Next, I'm going to teach you guys about West and South African music. So first, we have a South African song called Konkotwani. It means the click song. So this is a traditional local song. And here is the clip. So that song, so the click song, it's a traditional wedding song in South Africa. And the language is the coastal language, so it's only the language that uses click. And the rhythm of the song is syncopated melody and accompaniment. The meter is a simple 4/4 time, and the form of the song is ABA. Next, I'm going to play a clip of a West African song called Iseolua. So here are the musical aspects of Iseolua. First, we have the talking drum. So you can see that there is a lot more percussion used in this song compared to the other one. So a talking drum is a tall drum and it has tight strings all around it. And then there's the shekere, which is just like the shaker. And this song is sung in the Yoruba language, and the Yoruba people are an ethnic group in West Africa. And the scale used in this is the pentatonic scale. As I mentioned earlier, it's the 5-note scale. And the song is in ABA form, and the meter is in 6/8 form, which is a complex meter, rather than 4/4, which is a simple meter.
So first we're going to talk about Indian and Indonesian music. So the first genre of Indian music that we're talking about is rag or raga, which is an improvised piece of music based on a musical framework. So this is a set of musical scales that you have. There are different kinds of notes and scales that are used, and a lot of these scales use quarter tones. which usually in Western music we have the half note, or not half note. We have a semitone, or and then we have a whole tone. And the quarter tone is in between, is kind of just not quite a half step. And then this framework is also has a suggested order of notes and melodies that are suggested to be included within these songs. So the word rag or raga is linked to the Sanskrit word ranj, which means to color, and it can be an acoustic method of using emotion to fill in the listener's mind with color. Swar is the notes of the rag, and jati equals number of notes used. So the example that we're listening today is Rag Bimpalasi. So the instruments that you heard in that were a little bit different than the ones that we're used to in Western music. So the drums that you saw in there are called the tabla, and the lower one is the larger one right here, and it kind of sounded like if you had took a drop of water and dropped it like in a lake or something, and that's kind of what that sounded like. That kind of like that droplet sound, and then you have the smaller one which created that lighter or higher pitch sound. And then the other instrument is called the tanpura, and it's this guitar instrument over here. So Rag Bin Palasi was a very fast-paced song. As you could hear, the female singer used a lot of really quick notes in a really quick succession, and she also had a really wide range, really low and really high. And there were 3 different scales that were used in the song. The first one is the coffee scale, which is similar to Dorian mode in Western music. And if you don't know what Dorian mode is, it's basically if you took C major scale or any major scale, and instead of starting on do and ending on do, you started on re and ended on re. And the note names for the coffee scale are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, and sa. The next scale is the Aroha scale, and it's ni, sa, ga, ma, pa, ni, sa. And the last one is the Avaroha scale. Sa, ni, da, pa, ma, ga, re, sa.
Next, I'm going to teach you about the Indonesian gamelan. The Indonesian gamelan is a traditional Indonesian musical ensemble and style, and it mostly consists of percussion instruments. It uses scales that have different tunings than Western scales. So an example scale we have is the Palak scale. And here's an audio clip. So you can see that there are 5 notes in the scale. So do 1, ra flat 2, may flat 3, so 5, and lay flat 6. And there are 2 main kinds of Indonesian gamelan music. There's Balinese and Japanese. Balinese is usually fast-paced and energetic, while Japanese is usually slower and calmer. And now here is an example of a Balinese gamelan called Tabu Telu Bisuri.
So here are some musical aspects about Tabla Gusuri, which is it's generally fast-paced because it's Balinese gamelan. Then there are quiet sections in the song and they explode into loud sections. And then it uses the Palak scale, what I mentioned earlier. And there are three different types of instruments that are used in the song. There's the banong, which are like the bells, the kendong, which is like the drum, and the gangsa, which is like the mallets.
So now we're going to talk about the music of Native American and Indigenous Canadian people. So something that's very important to Native American culture is the powwow. And if you don't know what a powwow is, it's a gathering of different Native American tribes from all over America to celebrate their culture. And usually these powwows include musical performances that have drumming, which is usually performed by men, singing and dancing. And usually these performances are done in traditional tribal garb. As you can see, this woman is wearing her traditional tribal garb. And then the singers during these performances usually use vocables, and vocables are syllables that have no meaning and they're not attached to any language. So we're going to listen to a Lakota drumming and singing circle that would be performed at a traditional powwow. So in that song, you kind of heard that steady beat that was played. The drummers may have used eighth notes in between that bigger beat, but for the most part, it stayed steady. And they might have also used rest in there, but it was there the whole time. And in terms of melody and pitch, so the singers had a relatively small range. They didn't really go above sol in a major scale. And the singers used that fluctuating pitch that you heard that was kind of similar to vibrato, except it was wider and slower. And then they also used the pentatonic scale. And the meter that they used was ametric, so there really was no set meter that they had, or just kind of there was no repeating structures in there to let you know that there were measures. There was just a steady beat, and then the singer sang over it. So the other example that we're going to listen to is called Love Song, and it's an Inuit throat singing song. And Inuit people are the indigenous Canadian people.
Love song.
So that song that you heard kind of mimicked the sound of a heart with that steady beat, and then that steady beat got sped up, kind of like a heart would if it was getting excited. And that vocal melody that you heard in the beginning that kind of set the beat was do 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 me me te te do do, which are the notes in a minor scale. And so this song also contains some other unusual elements like growling and hissing, which we definitely wouldn't use within a Western tradition. It was also ametric, just like the Lakota drumming and singing circle. And traditionally, Inuit throat singing songs are used as entertainment among Inuit women while the men are out hunting. And it's more like a vocal or breathing game in the Inuit culture. And the goal of the game is to sing the song for as long as possible before somebody laughs, and the person who laughs loses. And you saw that the song ended when one of the girls in this duet that they sang laughed. So that concludes our video. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a lot about non-Western music with this.